Welcome, this is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers news, guys. After Rangers progressed to the next qualifying round of the Champions League with a 1-1 draw in Athens last night against Panathinaikos. You know what? This should be one of the simplest videos to make in the world ever. You know, the fact that we've won again, we were not won. We've won a tie. We drew last night. We've won a tie. We've progressed through. It should all be like, yay, fucking get in. Come on, let's do this. You know, this is actually quite a difficult video to make because on the one hand, it's job done. We got a result. We got through. We obviously progressed. We won 3-1 in aggregates, thanks to largely to JD Gassama, the guy in the photograph that you can see. Overall, you know, you've got to say that's positive. Big positive, but there were an awful lot of negatives over these last two legs. I mean, I suppose the one thing you've got to kind of take to kind of balance this all off with is it's still very early in the season. It's still a bedding in period for Russell Martin and the rest of his team. I mean, I suppose one thing to take, though, was that if you looked at the starting lineup tonight, Jack Butland was here last season, James Tavernier was here last season, okay, Nasajiga is a new signing, John Suter was here last season, Max Aarons was obviously not here last season, Diamonde was here last season, Rothwell wasn't, Raskin was, Curtis was, Danilo was, and Dowell was for some of last season. So, eight of the starting 11 were here last season at some point during the season. So does that kind of negate the whole growing as a team and gelling as a team kind of thing? I suppose the only kind of qualifier would be that learning the new way of playing, learning the new style of playing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought, I watched the game on my phone in between doing loads of running around. I thought Rangers were really, really poor. I thought they were very, very poor. I thought they were slow on the ball. I thought the build-up play was way too slow. I didn't think there was enough aggression there. I didn't think we saw that speed of play, that ability to run that Russell Martin so wants to see from the team. I genuinely thought, and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get people coming on here saying, you've been negative. Oh, you've been so negative about them. They won. Just be happy they won. Yes, I am happy they won. I'm happy they went through. I am happy that we're in the next round of the Champions League because that's where we need to be. But what I am doing is looking at this as a critical friend, not as a happy clapper, but as someone who looks at the team and thinks, well, that wasn't really that good last night. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you look at the game and you look at how the game played out, in terms of stats, they had 20 shots, 6 on target. We had 10, half the number, and 3 on target, again, half the number. We did have more possession of the ball, 57% to 43%. We did outpass them, 454 to 331. Our pass accuracy was better as well. But in that key statistic of shots, shots on target, off target, all those things, shots blocked, they dominated us. I mean, in terms of, like I said, total shots were 20, their shots on target were 6, shots off target 8, shots blocked 6, ours were 10, 3 on target, 4 off target, 3 shots blocked. You know, I think, you know, you look at that and any other nights, Panathinaikos, if they'd had their shooting boots on, probably could have had 2-3 goals quite easily. The defending was poor. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I thought our defending last night was absolutely appalling. I thought Jack Butland was excellent in goal. Absolutely fantastic. Pulled off a good couple of saves. I have read on some of the comments on my video and also on social media, some people criticising Jack Butland for the goal. I don't think there's a lot you could do about it. But I do think there is within the fan base an agenda against Jack Butland anyway. I mean, I think Jack Butland could keep 10 clean sheets between now and the next 10 games and pull off, 10 worldies in each of those games, and someone would still find something to slag him off about, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought the back four were very, very poor. I thought Max Aarons looked very bad. I don't think Max Aarons played well at all. I think he is, again, looking badly out of place. The guy is not a left back. He's a right back, and he's a very good right back. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, he's not playing right back at this moment in time. And I don't think he will play right back this season. I do think that James Tavernier will be the starting right back in the vast majority of games. look, I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered for it, but I thought James Tavernier was absolutely appalling tonight. The Juric goal, him and Dowell completely lose their men. Lose Juric, don't track him at all. I thought he was caught in possession a lot. I thought he was out of position an awful lot. He didn't get forward effectively. He was actually rated at 2.9. And I've seen ratings of 5, and the highest I've seen is 6 out of 10 for the player. So I thought James Tavernier was absolutely appalling. Absolutely appalling. Gigo was probably the best of the 4 central defenders. He was decent, wasn't brilliant, wasn't terrible, played okay. John Souttar looked again really badly out of place. I mean, we seem to again not have learned from our mistakes with John Souttar. John Souttar is solid at right side centre back. When he plays left side centre back, like he did when Connor Goldson played at right side centre back, he is dodgy and doesn't play well because he's not left footed, he's right footed. I thought he was poor, really, really poor. So I thought the whole back 4 was, apart from Giga, who was okay, was absolutely awful. I mean, in any other game, on any given day, Panathinaikos could have had 3 or 4 goals easily, I feel. The midfield was all right, solid enough. But Rothwell did reasonably well again, controlled the game, or tried to control the game. He times looked a little bit lackadaisical, the ball, gave the ball away a bit too easily. I think Raskan ran, Raskan did okay. Raskan was not too bad at all. He was kind of he was the one who had the driving run into the box that obviously helped to create the JD Gassama goal, which was absolutely excellent. And we'll talk about Gassama in a minute. The front 3, I thought Finlay Curtis struggled on the night, tried, but struggled. I thought Danilo linked play very well. Had the shots obviously that set up had 2 shots that obviously helped set up the Gassama goal. I think Danilo is a player who gets a lot of unfair criticism. I think the service to Danilo was poor. An excuse that's often used for serial Dessers by the Dessers fan club. Danilo linked play well, came deep to get the ball and to feed the ball out wide. He had those 2 shots which were saved obviously in blocked and led to the Gassama goal. I thought he did okay. I'm not saying he played brilliantly or fantastically. I think with the exception of probably JD Gassama and Jack Butland, nobody played well in the Rangers team last night, even though we did progress to the next round of the Champions League. Kieran Dowell, I've got to say, when I saw his name on the team sheet, I wasn't surprised, not in the slightest. But genuinely, after watching the game and watching Dowell, I genuinely don't see a footballer. I genuinely see someone who is just on the pitch, is wearing a shirt, is existing, and is just taking up a space of a player. To me, it was like playing with 10 men for over an hour. It genuinely was, because he contributes absolutely nothing to this team. I would love to understand what Russell Martin's thinking is about playing him on the right wing, because he doesn't have any pace to go past a man. His crossing ability is poor. He gives the ball away regularly. He was rated 2.8, by the way, on the Google scores. I think it's SofaScore or whatever. But yeah, 2.8, which I think is 2 points too high. He was genuinely awful. He was genuinely dreadful. He played for 74 minutes. How he got 74 minutes, I genuinely do not know. The guy is just absolutely shocking. No goals, no assists, no shots, 1 yellow card. That was it. He was genuinely very, very bad. And like I said, I don't know how this guy continues to get a game. I really don't. The subs that came on, I thought JD Gassama was excellent. Absolutely fantastic. Yet again, comes on. Super sub maybe? I don't know. Comes on, takes his goal exceptionally well. Just provides a bit of extra impetus. Really attacks well. Just looked great. And for me, on Saturday against Motherwell in the first game of the season, you've got to start with Gassama over Dowell. I don't see how you can start with Dowell over Gassama. I just genuinely think it's mind gone. If Russell Martin starts with Dowell over Gassama on Saturday, you've got to really ask questions and say, what the hell are you doing? Hefte came on, obviously, did okay. Bayrami came on, did okay. Dessers came on, and I think, yet again and again, I'm going to get slaughtered for this. Dessers comes on and shows us why he is the most infuriatingly frustrating player on planet Earth. He gets the ball, makes a great run through. He's clean through on goal, and he misses. He misses yet again. Yes, the keeper makes a save, but he should never have been. When you're through 1-on-1 on the goalkeeper, you should be putting that ball in the back of the net 9 times out of 10. And Dessers, it's 3-4 times out of 10 that he does it. And I'm sorry, people can slag Danilo off to your heart's content, and please, feel free to. But Dessers, I think, again showed last night why he cannot be trusted, why he is unreliable. I mean, what would have happened, guys, if, for example, that was 2-0 to them, and he's clean through on goal? If he scores, we go through. If he doesn't score, we go out, and it's on his shoulders, and he misses that chance. That's 20 million, 40 million pounds down the drain. You need to be able to rely on your strikers to put the ball on the back of the net. And I'm not saying Danilo's the answer. I think Hamza's the best striker at the club by a mile. I do think we need to go and sign a striker. I really do think we need to go and sign 1, maybe 2 strikers in this window still. Because to me, Danilo is still gaining match sharpness and still trying to get back to where he was. Dessers is just too untrustworthy, too unreliable. Yes, he works hard. Yes, he runs, but you cannot trust the guy. You cannot trust the guy. I mean, he's bags of heart, but just not reliable. I mean, to me, he reminds me of Fashion Sakala. And I've got to say, I liked Fashion a whole lot more than I like Cyril Dessers. But Fashion was another one who had bags and bags of heart, bags of running in him, worked so hard, but just missed some absolute glaring sitters. And Dessers is another Fashion Sakala. That's what he really is. And to be honest, if you've had a choice between having Fashion Sakala or having Cyril Dessers, I'd rather have Fashion Sakala back out of the two of them. But, that it is what it is. I mean, let's look on the bright side. We got through. That's the main thing. At the end of the day, we did get through. Yes, the performance was very poor. And that's worrying going into the game on Saturday. Hopefully, there'll be a raising level and a raising performance. But it's going to be tough coming back from that European tie, because it was apparently really boiling hot out there. It would have taken a lot out of the players. I think Martin will need to use his squad. Hopefully some more of the new signings will be fit and available to play on Saturday. Hopefully Hamza will be available to play. Hopefully Asgard will be available to play. And hopefully some of the newer signings, Mandy Fernandez, maybe get to run out as well. Because I think we need to obviously rotate the squad to some degree. And I think this shows why we need to go out and sign a few players still and add a few more to this squad, especially if we're going to obviously compete in Europe and compete domestically. But look, the positive is we got through, and that is the big that is the big thing you've got to take from last night. And I'm not saying it isn't, and I'm not saying that trying to denigrate what Rangers did or to put down what Rangers did last night. Of course I'm absolutely over the moon that we got through. Of course I am. But like I said, I would be failing in my duty as someone who does this sort of thing to... If I just sat here and just said to you, yay, we're through, yeah, it was amazing, yeah, they were all fantastic, you just think I was an idiot and talking absolute rubbish, and I'd lose credibility. That's not what I'm going to do. You know me, I'll speak my mind, I'll say what I think. A la Goldbridge, I'll do what I think, and I know there's a lot of people out there don't like that, but I don't give a fuck. There's a lot of people that slag me off. There's a lot of people that think they're clever. There's a lot of trolley trolls. There's a lot of smart asses. Some people who, to be honest with you, it's bordering on fucking stalking what they do. There's some quite scary people out there who need to get a fucking life. But look, at the end of the day, you've got to look at this in terms of what this means we've achieved. It means that we've obviously got through to the next round. It guarantees group stage football. Even if we were to go out in the next round of the Champions League, it means we do get group stage football in the Europa League. I don't want to play in the Europa League. We need Champions League money. Victoria Plitzen will be our opponents in the next round. They came from behind to beat Servette in Switzerland, and that is, again, it's a winnable tie. Plitzen are a decent team, don't get me wrong, but they're not unbeatable. They're not, it's not Feyenoord, it's not Fenerbahce, it's not Nice. It's not one of those teams that are in this Champions League draw. If you look at some of the teams that are in this Champions League draw, yes, there are some absolute shite teams in this Champions League draw, don't get me wrong. If you look at the next round, you look at the next set of ties, Salzburg, Club Brugge. I mean, I wouldn't want to play Club Brugge in the next round. Lech Poznan, Crvena Zvezda. not really fussed about those two. Kairat and Slovan Bratislava, again, not really fussed about those two. We play on the 5th of August at home. The first leg will be at home on the 5th of August. Skandia against Karabag. I mean, that's a joke tie. It really is. Kiev versus Fafos. Again, I wouldn't be worried about either of those two. Ludogorets versus Ferencvaros. Again, wouldn't be worried about those two. Malmo, Copenhagen. I think Copenhagen would be a tough out at this stage. The 4 teams in the lower half. I mean, you've got to kind of raise a question about some of the ties in this round. How, you look at Feyenoord, Fenerbahce, Nice, Benfica. You're going to have a situation where 2 teams are going to go out that are a hell of a lot better than some of those other teams that I've mentioned before the next leg. So, we could be facing a hell of a lot harder challenge, against the Feyenoord, against the Benfica, against the Nice, against the Fenerbahce, for example, in this next round. So just to repeat, the first leg is on the 5th. The second leg will be on the 12th, according to the information I've got, although that could be moved for TV, of course. But look, we're through to the next round of the Champions League. That's the main thing. I think it does show we do need to substantially add to this squad still. I think we still need a left back. I think we need a centre back. I think we need a centre forward. For definite, they're the 3 top positions I do think we do need to address before this window closes. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on last night. Do you think I've got it wrong? Do you agree with me? What do you feel about last night? What do you genuinely think about last night's game, guys? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you know what, guys? I will catch you on the next one.